In this video, I want to explain why maybe the idea of $100 when it comes to ICP is still on my mind, even though nothing I say is financial advice. When I take a look at it, the internet computer can actually, I think, do something that I would find pretty surprising. Like, for instance, it can supposedly connect Web 2 and Web 3 without oracles. Why do I think it's a pretty big deal? It's because when I take a look at a project like Chainlink, by the way, which don't get me wrong, I am a fan of Chainlink, but then Chainlink is well known for its decentralized oracle network. Let me explain this real quick. An oracle, basically in this case, is a data feed that brings data from off the chain. So it's called off-chain data, and it brings that data over into the blockchain. The reason why is because many decentralized applications out there, they can't really function properly without off-chain data. So again, Chainlink, just because of that kind of specific need for that off-chain data, arguably, Chainlink became very popular. So again, when I take a look at the internet computer, allegedly can be able to connect Web 2 and Web 3 without oracles, bypassing that process, I find that pretty interesting and pretty cool. However, to me, I think the internet computer actually has more aspects to it as well. Like, for instance, we take a look at what is kind of the most, I would say, recent thing that people really talked about when it comes to things surrounding the internet computer. And I think that was something called Caffeine AI, which allegedly is the world's first ever self-writing apps platform. I think it's pretty cool because if we take a look at, for instance, like using AI to type up questions and get answers, something like that, right? A lot of people kind of know about that, but how about using it arguably to help build applications? Now, I think this is something that's pretty cool. So again, if moving forward, developers, maybe arguably they might want to use that to help build their applications, who knows? When it comes to Caffeine AI, I just think it's too new for me to kind of really know what it could do moving forward, but I still like the concept nonetheless, and I just like the whole vibe overall when it comes to that. And I think Dfinity, they're doing a pretty awesome job. Like, for instance, I take a look at the other aspects too when it comes to their computer, like something like Bitcoin DeFi, right? Bitcoin DeFi, allegedly it is powered by the internet computer, so I think that's pretty cool as well. I also take a look at the very kind of recent, arguably I would say, Solana and ICP integration. So really, in the grand scheme of things, I just like the whole vibe overall when it comes to the internet computer. Yeah, sure, it's under some stiff competition, I would say. I mean, there's something like Ethereum, there's something like, Avalanche, Algorand, Solana. I mean, there's a bunch, right? But I just still like the whole vibe overall when it comes to the internet computer. ICP market cap is pretty massive. I like the amount of holders. I like the popularity. I like the exposure. Now, the internet computer doesn't really have in a sense where it just kind of has this advertising where we see with some other projects out there, which is kind of really pushing the retail side of things a lot. I just like how the internet computer seems a little bit more kind of low-key to me, but it's still, again, a pretty massive project, and fundamentally, I still like it. However, to me, let's say again, hypothetically, maybe the idea of $100. It's around a 20x from here. Now, some people may be thinking, okay, why would you care about that if there's this microcap that could maybe do this or do that? I'm totally aware that due to ICP's pretty massive market cap, I know that it's maybe not going to hypothetically outperform some microcaps out there. But then to me, at the end of the day, they're microcaps, right? For some that do good, there's a lot that really don't. So I don't really want to kind of believe in that. But again, this is just my perspective. But at the same time, I don't really want to kind of believe in a project that has a market cap that is way too massive either, even way more massive than ICP. Like, for instance, if I take a look at Ethereum, if that goes to 10 grand, that's less than a 3x from here. If let's say Bitcoin goes to 300,000, that's also less than a 3x from here. And that doesn't really excite me, but this is just my perspective. I'm not telling anyone to do anything when it comes to ICP, but when I take a look at that, maybe around a 20x, just the idea of it, I wouldn't find that disappointing. But again, this is just my thoughts on this. However, if it were to go, let's say, to the price of maybe $100, the market cap at that point, considering current circulating supply, would be nearly 54 billion, which is still around $30 billion less than Dogecoin's all-time high market cap. So it's nothing that really kind of would surprise me. And I don't think it's something maybe hypothetically that unrealistic. But again, only time will tell, because to me, all I can do is stay patient in all this. Sure, I like the aspects of the Bitcoin ETF, the Ethereum ETF. I like how supposedly right now there's more than 600 million crypto owners. I find that very impressive actually. Even though I like those factors, The exact moment in time, it's going to be beyond my control, but the idea of $100, it still hasn't left my mind. So maybe if we do ever see a fully fledged type of altcoin season during this cycle, be it happens maybe, right, if next month, in December, in January of next year, February, March of 2026 even, that's going to be beyond my control. But the only thing I can do is just stay patient by just holding and just waiting. So I'm just preparing for an event where maybe it does something. I'd just rather be prepared than not. But again, this is just what I'm doing. I knew that by doing what I was doing, I was going to have to wait for quite a while and just be patient. But I kind of knew that getting into it by just, dollar cost averaging and just really just waiting around. I kind of knew what I was getting into. But again, I made this choice by myself, so I'm just going to stay patient. And that's pretty much about it. But I'm still excited as to what maybe this could be moving forward, but only time will tell. And feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I greatly appreciate it. It's Willie the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.